Bridesmaids. Like it or not, your favorite driver might be one. The cruelty of sports means that there will always be someone that will be remembered as the best to never achieve something. Tony Stewart never won a Daytona 500 despite being one of the track's best drivers. Sir Stirling Moss was one of the best Formula One drivers of the sport's earliest eras. Did he win a championship? No. Did he come close? Absolutely. Being remembered for second place is never fun, and it's even worse when those second places start to pile up. As we venture back into the world of rallying, today's protagonist is no stranger to P2 in the championship. Not only was he P2 in the championship, but his opponent is universally regarded as the best to ever sit in a rally car. The driver would go on to finish as the bridesmaid of the World Rally Championship on 4 separate occasions. Even though his career came to an end without ever standing atop the final points tally of any year he competed in, he's still remembered as one of the best drivers of his time. Let's get into it. After capturing the Group A title in the Finnish Rally Championship in 2002, it wasn't long until the World Rally Championship met Mikko Hirvonen. As a matter of fact, they met him that same year as he drove an outdated Subaru WRC car at the 2002 Rally Wales to a DNF due to a mechanical failure. Mikko would compete in his very first full season of the World Championship in 2003, driving a Ford Focus, and unfortunately, it would be a lackluster one, with him scoring points only once all year at the Cyprus Rally. Following Richard Burns' tumor diagnosis and subsequent withdrawal from the championship to treat his ailment, Mikko was called up by Subaru to take over the seat originally meant for Richard in 2004. This season would see Mikko have a much better year, scoring in 10 of the 16 rallies that year and finishing 7th in the championship. Mikko would be a journeyman in 2005, making a few independent starts in that year's championship in a Focus WRC car. Funny enough, this would be the year that Mikko scored his very first podium in the championship, bagging a P3 finish at Rally Catalunya. 2006 would be Hirvonen's second big break as he secured a drive with Ford's factory team for the full season alongside Marcus Gronholm, a 2-time world champion. After only scoring 2 points finishes in the first 6 rallies, Mikko would flourish and score podium finishes in 8 of the last 10 rallies of 2006. The highlight of this run of form came when he scored his maiden WRC victory at Rally Australia. He finished that season 3rd in the Drivers' Championship as Ford took the manufacturer's title. 2007 would be an even better season for Mikko, scoring in all but 1 rally and bagging 3 more wins on his career tally as he took another P3 finish in the Drivers' Championship. As Ford would take another manufacturer's title, Mikko finished within decent reach of the World Championship, only missing out on the title by 17 points. However, in 2008, Mikko would mount his very first serious charge at the World Rally Championship. Marcus Gronholm retired from the WRC at the end of the 2007 season after missing out on the World Championship to Sebastian Loeb by 4 points. This put Hirvonen and his co-driver Jarmo Lehtinen in prime position to lead the charge for Ford's factory team, and that he did. With his new teammate Jari-Matti Latvala, Hirvonen would be the one to try and put an end to Sebastian Loeb's run of 5 straight World Championships. Mikko could only manage P2 at the season opener in Monte Carlo as Loeb was unbeatable that weekend. P2 was originally a P3 until Citroën driver Danny Sordo retired with engine issues. Round 2 at Sweden saw Mikko take the championship lead by 6 points with another P2 finish as Loeb retired following a crash. It was also a Ford 1-2 that weekend, as his young teammate Latvala became the youngest winner in the WRC ever with a dominant performance at Rally Sweden. A puncture in Mexico saw Mikko finish P5 as Loeb bounced back with victory to reduce Mikko's 6-point lead to just 1. A dream start in stage 1 saw Mikko take a near minute lead, but that was completely wiped and then some after he hit a rock. Loeb would take a second win in a row as Hirvonen would come home P5 20 minutes behind. Loeb would take the lead by 5 points. As is the theme of this season, another swing in points would come as Hirvonen won Rally Jordan with Loeb out again due to an accident on public roads. Hirvonen's 10-point swing saw him turn a 5-point deficit to Loeb into a 5-point lead heading into Sardinia. Loeb would beat Hirvonen to victory at Sardinia by 10.6 seconds to cut Mikko's lead to 3. After both Hirvonen and Latvala hit rocks in Greece, their rallies were crippled, with Loeb winning again and Mikko recovering for P3. This gave Loeb a 1-point lead in the championship. Turkey. The midway point of the season saw another victory for Hirvonen with Loeb third, and a 3-point lead in the championship heading into the summer break. Finland saw the title protagonists engage in an all-out war at Mikko's home rally. Mikko was expected to win, being the Scandinavian that he is, but Loeb managed to get the better of the Finn on the loose surface to win Rally Finland right before upcoming tarmac rallies, a surface that Loeb was dominant on. Loeb would win the next round in Germany, his 7th victory in a row on German soil, while Mikko finished 4th. Loeb would then win New Zealand for his 3rd victory in a row as Mikko came home P3. Loeb would now boast an 8-point lead in the championship with only 4 rounds left. Continuing his tarmac dominance, Seb Loeb would win Catalonia and Corsica back-to-back, extending his winning streak to 5 rallies in a row. Mikko found himself in a dire situation with Loeb's run of form, with Ford having to step in and instruct Francois Duval and Jari-Matti Latvala to surrender their 2nd and 3rd place spots to help a then P4 Mikko finish P2 to help his title charge. Alas, it came to an end at the penultimate round in Japan, as Seb's P3 finish was enough to clinch a 5th championship in a row despite Mikko scoring his first rally win since Turkey. Mikko's first head-to-head duel with Loeb saw a promising title charge fall apart as Loeb would end up winning all but 4 of the 15 rallies that year. If it wasn't evident already, Mikko now knew that to beat Loeb would be a Herculean task. His fight for a maiden world championship would continue the next season in 2009. The season would begin in Ireland as opposed to the Monte Carlo rally, but that would not stop Seb Loeb from taking victory on the wet tarmac roads as Hirvonen took P3 in the season opener behind Loeb's teammate Danny Sordo. Round 2 would take place in the snow, but not Sweden. Instead, it was Rally Norway, and instead of Hirvonen taking the win, it would actually be Loeb going back-to-back and boasting a 6-point lead on Hirvonen going into round 3. Round 3 in Cyprus saw Loeb take his 50th career win and 3rd straight win to start off 2009 with Mikko in 2nd. This 6-point lead was now 8. Loeb turned 3 wins in a row into 4 at Rally Portugal with Mikko once again P2. An engine failure in Argentina saw Mikko score 0 points. Coupled with Loeb's 5th win of the year, Mikko had not only lost touch of Loeb in the championship, but he now sunk to P3 in the standings behind Danny Sordo. Sardinia saw Ford finally take a victory. However, the winner was not Mikko, it was Jari-Matti Latvala who took P1 ahead of Hirvonen. With Loeb in P4, Mikko did make gains in the championship. However, an interesting point arose during the rally, as discussions were had over whether or not Ford should have ordered Latvala to gift Mikko the win to boost his title chances. Jari-Matti had a rough season up until that point, with only 3 points finishes in 5 rallies. Mikko refused the switch, and Ford kept the drivers as they were. Mikko would score his first win of the season at round 7 as Loeb had a massive crash. This resulted in a 10-point swing in the championship between the pair that saw Mikko turn what was once a 19-point deficit into 7 points. Round 8 in Poland saw Loeb out again, this time on day 1 after hitting a tree stump that destroyed his car's steering. Mikko would score a second straight win, one that elevated him to the lead of the championship by just 1 point. Mikko extended his points lead to 3 points with a win in his home rally of Finland with Loeb runner-up. With only 3 rounds left, Loeb and Hirvonen were once again in a heated duel for top honours. Loeb took the win at Rally Australia, or so he thought. A post-rally penalty for irregularities with the Citroën anti-roll bars saw he, Sordo, and Citroën Junior driver Seb Ogier hit with 1-minute penalties. This penalty meant that Hirvonen was the winner. A 4th rally win in a row saw Mikko with a 5-point lead with just 2 rallies left. The penultimate round in Catalonia saw Loeb activate his tarmac dominance once again at a crucial point in the championship fight to take the win. With Mikko in P3, the two would be separated by just 1 point heading into the title decider in Wales. One wouldn't have expected this after Loeb's 5 straight wins to start the season, but retirements coupled with an uptick in form by Mikko saw this championship go all the way down to the wire. The finale had come. Rally Wales. Would Mikko win his first, or would Loeb win his 6th? Seb Loeb struck first, leading the rally at the end of day 1. A turbo issue saw Mikko push to catch Loeb's lead. As Mikko charged, an awkward landing saw his car bonnet get loose and block his view. Mikko would lose a minute removing the bonnet from his car, and this would serve as the final nail in the coffin as Loeb would keep an unassailable lead due to this incident and would win Rally Wales, and with it, a 6th World Championship by 1 point over Hirvonen. Another year, another runner-up finish. As Mikko lost out on a maiden World Championship by a solitary point, it's worth bringing up Sardinia again. In hindsight, had Mikko agreed with the call to swap places with Latvala, he would have been the 2009 World Champion. Ford were no strangers to team orders, as they implemented them in 2008 to keep Mikko within reach of Loeb near the end of the year. A decision most would have seen as honourable ended up being the one that may have cost him the championship. However, as is the case with titles decided by mere margins, there were a number of factors that determined the outcome. Mikko finished every single round of the championship on the podium, bar Argentina due to his engine failure. Had that not happened, he would have won the championship. On the other hand, had Loeb not been penalized in Australia, he would have won the championship by more than 1 point. Many factors, but at the end of the day, the result was final. Mikko Hirvonen would have to wait at least another year to be crowned world champion. That year would not be 2010, as Mikko took a massive dip in form, only finishing 5th in the championship, while Latvala would actually be Loeb's closest competitor, albeit 100 points back, as the Frenchman dominated and took a 7th straight championship. However, in 2011, Hirvonen fought back. A new take on the regulations saw both Citroën and Ford introduce newer, smaller, less powerful but more agile cars for 2011. Ford would be using the Fiesta, while Citroën would use the DS3. Mikko and Jarmo set to right the wrongs of 2010 by once again challenging for a world championship, but as proven by the last 7 years, beating the mighty pair of Seb Loeb and Daniel Elena would be no easy feat, as they set out for an 8th straight world championship. However, a new threat would also emerge in the form of Seb Ogier and his co-driver Julian Ingrassia, who had been promoted to Citroën's works team alongside Loeb. Ogier would eventually prove to be a bigger threat to overall victories than former teammate to Loeb Dani Sordo. With Latvala by Mikko's side for another year, a new dawn cracked on the World Championship. The season would begin in Rally Sweden. As first on the road, Loeb would have a disastrous first stage, dropping 40 seconds. Mikko would take advantage of Loeb's misfortune and win Rally Sweden to take an early lead in the championship. Mikko would then suffer Loeb's Sweden fate, as his championship lead meant that he would be road cleaning in the first line in Mexico. Loeb would go on to win that rally following a crash by Ogier. Mikko would finish second, and coupled with his power stage points, he would keep the lead of the World Championship. Ogier would take the win in Portugal ahead of Loeb. Mikko's rally was an absolute disaster, with multiple issues keeping him out of the fight for the lead. He could only manage P4 at the end. Rally Jordan would see the closest finish in the history of the WRC, as Seb Ogier won the rally by only 0.2 of a second ahead of Jari-Matti Latvala. A loss of power steering on day 1 meant that Mikko struggled once more, and Loeb would retake the lead of the championship. Sardinia saw Mikko get a puncture while gunning for the lead. Though he got 3 bonus points for the fastest power stage time, it wasn't enough to take the win, as Seb Loeb took victory number 2 of 2011 to extend his title lead. Argentina saw Ogier roll from the lead of the rally, allowing Seb Loeb, who had to fight back from a minute penalty earlier, snatch the win at the last stage ahead of Hirvonen by 2.4 seconds. In Acropolis, Ogier fought back and defeated Loeb for victory with Hirvonen P3. Following this rally, Seb Loeb boasted a 17-point lead on Mikko, who himself was only 5 points ahead of Ogier. A 3-way title battle was surely brewing, as the season only had 6 rounds remaining. Finland, Mikko's home rally. Unfortunately, a mistake on day 1 saw him hit a tree and lose massive amounts of time to the leaders. Loeb would beat Latvala for victory as Mikko recovered to P4. A slow puncture late took Ogier out of win contention, but he still managed P3. Loeb now had a 27-point stranglehold on the championship heading into Germany. Germany saw tension. After being told to hold position behind Loeb, Ogier ended up leading the rally after Loeb got a puncture. That puncture effectively meant Ogier held back for nothing and lost valuable time. Ogier, furious with Citroën putting a leash on his pace, won the rally after claiming Loeb's puncture was proof that there was justice in the sport.
I think today the good thing is there is a justice in the sport. So
all signs were now pointing to Ogier leaving the team at the end of the season, as he grew frustrated in his role as Loeb's sidekick, despite the fact that he himself was also in the title fight. Australia saw a disaster for Citroën. Both drivers crashed out on day 1. Righting the wrongs of 2009, Latvala sacrificed his lead to give Mikko Hirvonen maximum points and the win, as Citroën would later sacrifice Ogier to ensure Loeb left Australia with at least 1 point. Mikko would leave Australia 15 points behind Loeb. Ogier was 29 points off the title, still within reach, but given Citroën's clear intentions to back Loeb, the chances of him being in a position to fight for his first championship seemed thin. Following this round, Volkswagen announced that they would be joining the grid in 2013 using the Polo WRC car developed by 2-time world champion Carlos Sainz. The tarmac round of Corsica would see Loeb have a golden opportunity to extend his lead. However, those hopes were dashed due to an engine failure. One would assume Mikko would pick up the pieces, but no. He too made an error on day 1 that cost him massive time. This opened the door for Seb Ogier to take advantage. Ogier's 5th win of the year, coupled with Loeb and Hirvonen's misfortune, skyrocketed him to just 3 points off the lead of the championship, a lead that was now shared by both Loeb and Hirvonen with 2 rounds remaining. Mikko had quite the situation ahead of him. He had not only one Citroën driver named Sebastian to worry about, but now 2. With tensions rising at the team, Mikko had the chance to pull a Raikkonen 2007 and snatch the championship from the 2 teammates. The penultimate round was held on the tarmac of Catalonia. As Loeb swept the road, his dust from the day 1 gravel stages would hinder Mikko Hirvonen from making gains. As the day 2 tarmac stages were attacked, Ogier's title hopes would officially come to an end, suffering an engine failure after 2 punctures had already sunk him down the order. The young Frenchman would not be the 2011 world champion, as this DNF mathematically kept him out of fighting for the title in Wales. Loeb would take the win, and Latvala would once again give Mikko Hirvonen an extra place, meaning the 2 title protagonists finished 1-2. The final round in Wales saw an 8-point gap between Loeb and Hirvonen. For Mikko to become champion, a win with Loeb lower than second would suffice. However, if Loeb were to finish second, Mikko could still win the championship if he scored 2 more power stage points than Loeb. This was Mikko's chance to finally beat Loeb after 2 prior failed attempts. He would not have the cushion of a 1-point lead like in 2009, but he was still within reach nonetheless. With Ogier crashing out of Wales early, Loeb would have no help to defend his title lead. Mikko would be on full push and took the lead of the rally on stage 6. However, on stage 7, it happened. A small error saw Mikko hit a tree. This hit pierced his radiator. The damage to his radiator caused him to drop out of the rally. 2011 would see Mikko Hirvonen finish second in the championship for the 3rd time in his career. Loeb would take the lead of the rally due to Mikko's retirement and engage in a battle with Latvala for the win. To add absolute insult to the injury of Mikko's lost title, Loeb would not see the end of Rally Wales either, as a crash on the road section with a civilian saw him drop out as well, meaning that had Mikko not made the mistake earlier and this crash still happened, he would have cruised to a first world championship. As Latvala took the last rally win of the year, Sebastian Loeb was crowned World Rally Champion for the 8th straight year. Mikko expressed great shame for losing the championship, claiming in a post-rally interview that he felt especially bad for the team and Jari Matti, who had helped him where possible to mount a title charge.
Disappointed for the team and for the boys in the team, because it hasn't been my best season, but just as a team we worked so well together. And Jari Matti helped me a lot as well. And it all just made possible to come to GP and still have a chance for the title fight. And in this rally all we could do is really go.
Following the 2011 season, Sebastian Ogier left Citroën and spent 2012 driving a Skoda S2000 to prepare for his new role as the lead driver of the Volkswagen team come 2013. However, what was even more shocking than this was Ogier's replacement at Citroën, Mikko Hirvonen. Mikko Hirvonen left Ford, the place he called home since 2006, and made the move to Citroën to be the teammate of the man that had 3 times defeated him for the World Championship, Sebastian Loeb. Loeb stated that he was looking forward to teaming with Mikko as he had good battles for titles with him in the past. Fans were left wondering if having 2 alphas like Loeb and Hirvonen on one team could lead to a breakdown similar to what took place at Citroën the year before with Loeb and Ogier. The season began at the traditional starting point, Rally Monte Carlo. Loeb would take his 6th Monte victory as Mikko could only manage P4 on his Citroën debut. In Sweden, a mistake from Loeb saw him relegated to P6 at the end. Mikko's chances of winning dramatically increased after rally leader Latvala hit a rock that wiped out most of his lead. Alas, he would still hold on, keeping Mikko at bay to win Rally Sweden. Loeb would bounce back in Mexico by leading Mikko home to a Citroën 1-2 by 42 seconds. This win gave Loeb a 16-point lead on Hirvonen in the championship. Mikko finally clicked with his new Citroën in Portugal, taking an impressive victory as Loeb crashed out on day 1. This win would surely give Mikko the championship lead. However, clutch irregularities discovered by the FIA during scrutineering meant that Mikko was disqualified from the event, handing the Norwegian Mads Ostberg and his co-driver Swede Jonas Andersson a maiden WRC victory. The DQ would see Mikko go from the championship leader to 4th in the standings behind Mads and Mikko's replacement at Ford, Petter Solberg. Argentina would see both Citroën drivers in a duel for the win, separated by less than 5 seconds. Similar to the days of Loeb and Ogier, Citroën stepped in and ordered the two to hold position to prevent one from potentially crashing out due to the intoxication of a fight for victory. As a result, Loeb took the win ahead of Mikko. Another Citroën 1-2 occurred in Acropolis, with Loeb once again leading Mikko home, this time by 40 seconds. Winless in his first 6 rallies for Citroën, one of which was stripped for a technical reason and the other halted by the team, Mikko would once again begin a charge for victory on day 1 of Rally Sweden by taking an early lead. Tire preservation allowed Loeb to eventually reel Mikko in and take the lead of the rally, and he wouldn't look back, taking Citroën's third 1-2 of the year. Loeb now boasted a 38-point lead on Hirvonen at the season's halfway point. Not even the rile of Mikko's home crowd in Finland would be enough for him, as Loeb would take victory on the high-speed gravel rally by just 6.1 seconds, with Mikko once again second best. Unsurprisingly, Loeb would also win on the tarmac of Germany by over 2 minutes as he continued to cement his dominance on the surface. Meanwhile, Mikko couldn't even get second this time around, losing it to former teammate Latvala. Loeb now had a 54-point lead on Mikko, over 2 rally wins worth of points. Latvala would defeat Loeb in Wales, while Mikko came home a disappointing P5. Leading up to his home rally in France, Loeb made the bombshell announcement that 2012 would be his last full season of rallying. France also set the stage as the first opportunity for Sebastian to clinch an astounding 9th straight world championship. Not one to underperform on tarmac, Loeb did just that, taking the win, and with it, title number 9 in front of his home crowd. With 2 rounds left, Mikko had pretty much locked up P2 in the championship, having a 42-point gap between himself and Latvala. 2012 would be Mikko's 4th runner-up in the World Rally Championship. A consolation prize came Mikko's way in Italy. The newly crowned champ Seb Loeb would crash out early. Latvala and Sahlberg would also crash out, leaving Mikko as the sole surviving factory driver from the top 2 teams in the constructors. By keeping his car on the straight and narrow, Hirvonen would score his maiden win for Citroën in Sardinia. The season ended in Spain, exactly how one would expect a tarmac rally to end, a Loeb victory in the final rally of his full-time career. 2012 was Mikko's last ever chance at a world championship. Though he'd be the lead driver at Citroën in 2013, it was also the year that Volkswagen would enter the Polo WRC car into top flight rallying. After a year of driving a Skoda S2000, Seb Ogier and VW's partnership proved unstoppable, with the Frenchman winning the 2013 championship, winning all but 4 rallies, as Mikko could only bag 4 podiums and no wins in his Citroën. This spelt the end of his partnership with the manufacturer, and come 2014, Mikko would go back to Ford, a move that ended up being the last of his WRC career, as he retired from the sport at the end of the season, closing out his final rally in Wales with a P2 finish for the manufacturer he called home for most of his career. Mikko's brilliance as a rally driver would never be rewarded, as 4 times he failed to get the better of the sport's most successful driver. Given Loeb's stranglehold on the sport with his 9 straight championships, it was an impressive feat that Mikko was even able to take him to the final rally of the season in a title fight, let alone twice. Not to mention the alternate universes where he wins the championship in 2009 and 2011. Mikko had the ultimate black cat cross his path in the form of competing in the same era as Loeb, as he easily proved to be better than the rest of his competitors. Championship or no championship, these duels with Loeb proved that Mikko was nothing short of an elite, top-tier talent in the WRC. That move to Citroën ended up being the final nail in the coffin, as the equal machinery season-long duel with Loeb proved right then and there that Mikko just didn't have what it took to defeat him. Would things have gone different if Loeb moved to Ford to partner Mikko there? Who knows? The bottom line is, losing to a guy like Seb Loeb should be no means by which a driver is shamed, as Mikko was the 3rd elite driver of the 2000s to suffer this fate. The man that preceded Mikko's status as Ford number 1, Marcus Gronholm, already a two-time champion before Loeb's debut, was unable to defeat him in a title duel even in 2006 when Loeb missed the last 4 rounds due to injury. Gronholm failed again in 2007 as mistakes late in the season caused his title charge to disintegrate, come not just the end of the season but also the end of his career, as he retired after the end of 2007. And even before Marcus, Petter Solberg, who defeated a rookie Loeb by a point in 2003, fell victim to Loeb dominance as he would finish second to the Frenchman in 2004 and 2005, before going on to never win again in the WRC following that season despite showing obvious elite level talent even in the twilight of his career. The only difference between Mikko and those two is that those two won world championships. One would assume that the exit of Loeb in a full-time capacity would mean doors opened for Mikko, but it came right as a period of dominance was set to begin, led by Seb Ogier, the young rebel that left Citroën to forge his own path at Volkswagen, and would win the championship in dominant fashion in the final 2 seasons of Mikko's career. However, as Loeb bowed out of the sport and his status as the best was inherited by Ogier, a similar inheritance would take place around the same time, because as Mikko Hirvonen, the ultimate bridesmaid, would bow out of the sport in 2014, a year prior, the man that would finish second to Ogier in 2013 for his first title win would unknowingly be handed the baton of the new ultimate bridesmaid. His name was Thierry Neuville.